and if you look at Suicide Squad, a lot of the iconic members of Batman's rogues gallery, pardon me, aren't necessarily been members. I mean, when I first heard that Joker was going to be in Suicide Squad, I said, well, Joker's never been a member of the not Rogue Gallery, Suicide Squad. And so and the big reason for that is because a lot of these villains, are disposable villains.
See, yes, to a point. But what's really disappointed me more than, and this is more than just because of the fact I am a huge Harley Quinn fanatic. Anytime in the comic books anytime you see the Joker, Harley Quinn is at his side. And that has disappointed me over the years, that anytime they have really focused on Joker in a movie or in that, Harley Quinn has not surfaced in any form, not even name or anything. And that's disappointing. You
got to remember, though, that Harley Quinn was non-existent until Batman the Animated Series came out in the late 80s, early 90s. And she was based off of a character that the voice actor portrayed in one episode of a soap opera.
But she has quickly become one of the most iconic characters in the Batman universe, even more so than the Joker. And that's what's disappointing, is someone who is so popular. Imagine the fan base that they would have had. Like, Dark Knight was a huge seller. Could you imagine, though, if in some way or form they had included Harley Quinn in there? Could you imagine where that would have gone?
I don't think she would have added to the movie, unfortunately.
I think she would have on the whole psychotic, crazy form.
But I honestly, I don't think Heath Ledger's Joker needed, another, a sidekick in it. I think she did really well. I was actually disappointed in what they did with Two-Face in that, so I don't think necessarily bringing in a third villain into that movie would have been good.
I'm ashamed that you just called Harley Quinn a sidekick.
She was.
She is more than a sidekick.
She's turned into more than a sidekick. But to go off and to have her in a movie with the Joker kind of puts her in a sidekick.
Robin is a sidekick. Harley Quinn is an equal.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but that is pretty much what would have happened if they had put her in a movie with the Joker.
I agree, but at the same point, like, you can't have Suicide Squad as the first appearance of such an iconic character, such a very popular, fan-followed character.
Technically speaking, it's not the first time. Well, I mean, she did, or at least her voice was in an episode of Arrow, and of course, Oliver Quinn was a part of their version of the Suicide Squad at one point. So, I mean, this isn't even the first time the Suicide Squad will be on television. It's actually been even mentioned sort of by name during the Smallville TV series that came out over a decade ago.
But we're talking cinema.
We're talking
not
cinema,
TV.
absolutely.
Completely different atmosphere. And I really hope, like, because this is the first iconic Harley Quinn, and like, I like the look, but I'm also a little disappointed. I was expecting a little bit more, sticking to what the original was. This is a little bit more like the chainsaw lollipop.
This is what she, the new, Harley Quinn is turned into in the New 52. I mean, so we're not going to go off and see her, dressed up like a jester anymore.
No, that's true.
This is the same Harley Quinn, who has, who was recently revealed that she and Ivy are in fact girlfriends in an open relationship.
See, what I would like to see is, in this movie, her make some sort of remark or joke about the former Harley Quinn outfit, kind of like how, in Deadpool, he made Ryan Reynolds made a joke about, Green Lantern. I would like to see that.
It would be quite interesting to go off and see that. I mean, and that's something that we often see played out in different movies. If you remember the original X-Men movie, Cyclops at one point turns to Wolverine and says, "Would you prefer yellow spandex?"
Yes.
As a way to kind of make fun of, the look from the original cartoon.
I feel they won't do it, but, it's not really going to take too much away from it. But anyways, let's move into our final topic before we start wrapping this up and calling it a day. Gimli Icelandic Festival.
The Gimli Icelandic Festival, if you guys aren't familiar with this, it's exactly what it sounds like. Gimli, Manitoba was a small town that
grew extremely big.
I mean, it's a good-sized town. I mean, And most of the people that live there are of Icelandic, Ukrainian, or Polish descent, and they're very proud of their Icelandic history. And so this is a festival that's been now going on for a couple of decades. I'm not going to go off and say exactly how long because I didn't, think to research it. I believe it's like 17 or 18 years. It may be longer than that.
Honestly, this has been my first time actually attending, and first time seeing the parade. And by far, as someone who comes from the city and who's seen quite a few different, types of parades, I was blown away.
Absolutely. It's great. They have a lot of interactive stuff with, Vikings. They have, in fact, there was a Viking village there that you could go and, check out. We're talking, obviously there should be Vikings there. They have a statue of a Viking right in the middle of town, pretty much.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a bunch of guys walking around with swords and shields and all that, of course, looking like Vikings. Some of these guys were actually the same ones that were at the Sword and Saber Festival here in Winnipeg.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. I do get the impression that, this is a community, so, you're going to go off and you're going to see a lot of, floating around from one group to another group to another group. So, it is definitely, it's the single biggest weekend in Gimli, Manitoba. It brings a lot of revenue. On top of the parade, of course, they have a lot of great booths there. They have, a fair there. So
wonder shows.
There's wonder, exactly. And, for some people who might be a little bit more fickle, they might think, oh, yeah, one fair after another. But this is pretty, at least for us, it's pretty exciting. It gives my wife and I an excuse to go out and to visit her family.
And this is more than just a festival or a fair. This is about heritage. Manitoba is really big. I believe Gimli is actually designated as a town of Iceland.
Yes.
They actually have big travelers back and forth.
They actually have the leaders, the political leaders of Iceland actually come and participate in the parade every year.
Yeah, and this is basically the only festival around the world that any dignitaries from another country will actually openly attend in the way that they did. Like there's most times there'll be security, all these things. They're openly sitting in cars, waving at people, and it's a completely different atmosphere.
Very low key. Is the best way to go off and to describe the way that the Icelandic festival is, and this is, of course, happens along the August long weekend every year here in Manitoba. The first Monday of August is now named after the late Terry Fox, who was probably one of our most recognizable icons here in our country.
Yeah, and if you're only going to go to one festival here in Manitoba, I recommend Gimli's Icelandic Festival. It by far blows away the rest. It's you got the whole small town feel, with a big country.
And there you go. And so that's our little plug here this week for one of the great festivals here in Manitoba.
That blew me away.
Well, I'm glad.
Especially the cars. I am a car enthusiast, and my heart sunk when I saw half these cars. We're talking 1928 Roadsters and 1930s. These are cars that you usually would not see on the road working anymore, and they were looking beautiful. The motorcycles going around their little donuts. But what really stood out to me, and I have to mention this just because of the uniqueness of it and how likely I would be driving something like this, it is a motorized cooler.
I've seen a couple of those over the years, but yes.
It is perfect because you take the picnic with you. You don't have to really load it up. You just sit on your butt, sit on it, drive around. Oh, there's my picnic. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
Shameless plug time.
Shameless plug time. So you know what, guys? You know what? It's nice that to kind of get back into the back into the saddle, I guess. I'm trying to come up with other words.
We're back to the grind.
Back on the grind. I don't know, man. I mean, it's great to be back with you and actually to be able to do some chatting. Last week was my wedding anniversary. 2 weeks ago, I had to work. I have my real job that actually pays me money. So,
Unlike here, where we pay them in crackers.
that's why I'm never happy because I don't like crackers.
Nor do I.
So you know what? We need the rap to show up so you could go see your lizard.
Yes, my Leroy the Bearded Dragon.
So you know, guys, so time for shameless social media plugs. You can follow us on Twitter.
Oh crap! Why is it's always me, and I always forget. So follow me at real CAPT so at real Captain Fizz.
You can follow this local fellow at that mask guy. Follow the show at fizzmassshow.com.
Wait, what?
I do that. I did it again. Every time. I was thinking of our website at fizzmassshow. It's the Twitter. Better yet, why don't you just go to our website, www.fizzmassshow.com. And there's links to all three of those Twitter accounts and a link to our Facebook page where we have a lot of fun where we just post stuff that we see, on our private, Facebook accounts just because we think it's interesting.
And it usually is. A lot of videos, different things like that, upcoming movies, upcoming events, pictures that just seem absolutely hilarious until other people complain about it.
And you know what, guys? I mean, we encourage you, like our page on Facebook. Go off and comment on some of this stuff. I got to sit down with the captain and come up with a couple of ideas as to how to go up and kind of take advantage of Facebook.
For every person that likes and comments, I will give you a smooch. Crap, we just lost everybody.
This is true. All right, guys, we got to go. So in the meantime and in between time, good night, God bless, and may the force be with you.
And as always, stay frosty, my people. Good
night.